Good evening, I'm Jim, and this is XS Manchester, the full-time Devils takeover. I always say this is your place to talk about your team, so get involved. But tonight, that is only open to Reds. In fact, you know what? If you're a Blue, it's open to you as well. I think you should come on and try your luck tonight. 0345 111 7625 is the phone number. That's 0345 111 7625. The text number, if you want to get involved that way, is 87711. And you can get us on Twitter as well. There is loads to talk about tonight, and you'll be talking about everything that's going on with Manchester United with Webby this evening. Evening, Webby.
Evening, James.
And we got Gaz as well.
Hello, mate.
There is loads to go at. We have the game last night. We have the game on Sunday. But I want to kick off with one particular man who is getting a load of media attention at the moment, and that is the boss man, the guy in the dugout. Because if you were glancing at social media last week, you would have no doubt seen there were some very sweary outbursts from the fans outside Old Trafford.
They've won it fair enough, but at least f***ing challenge for a f***er. That's all we asked for, and these players did f*** all today.
Fans positively frothing at the mouth after the derby last weekend, many of which seem to have grown tired of Jose Mourinho and grown tired of his tactics as well. Anti-football, it has been dubbed by some people. Meanwhile, inside the club, there are rumours there is discontent in there as well with the powers that be and the lack of grace in which Jose Mourinho handles himself. And in defeat and victory, so is Mourinho the man for the job? Gaz, are you sticking with Jose for now?
I don't think there's too many fans who are massively against him. I don't think. I think maybe like there was a sort of loud minority, as there usually is in cases like this. I think that we can criticise him, and I will criticise him, and I will criticise his tactics in certain games without doubt. The City game, I completely understand the way he went at it in a way where we were sort of thinking, let them have the ball, let them do what they do, but we're just going to power on direct passing in the second half counter-attacking.
Everyone said we can't sit back on that game. You can't have your arch rivals come into Old Trafford and you can't sit back and you can't park the bus, and that's exactly what he did.
I don't think it was parking the bus, though, necessarily, really. I don't think compared to the Liverpool game. I think that was more parking the bus, because he literally went to the Liverpool game and went, I want a draw out of this game, that is it. I don't think he wanted a draw out the City game. I just think he wanted to get them on the counter-attack. But we had players who were playing this direct football sort of play where they were getting it, and what you wanted them to do was to look up, look and spot the runs, because you saw the wingers making the runs and you saw the striker making his run, and you're just thinking, actually try and find that man with a pass. But a lot of the time it seems to be that we were just blindly lumping the ball up, and it was essentially long ball football, even though I can't imagine that's what the manager actually wanted, because you could see the forwards making the runs. I don't think there's many who would say that they've given up on Jose at the minute. I think you look at where we are this season and look at where we were in the past few years at this stage in the season, and we're a lot better. We're a lot better. I think it's
an effective argument, though, when you look at the last two managers of United, which have been, every United fan would admit, a disaster. It's better than that. That's not much of a compliment.
A disaster? I don't know about Louis van Gaal being a disaster.
You're the only person who thinks that. You've said that before.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't great. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he was great. I think that he should have gone when he went. But I don't think it was necessarily a disaster. He won the FA Cup. He got us back into the European football the year before. I think Jose at the minute, it's going steady at the minute, and this season my minimum expectation was title challenge. Let's get that title challenge. If that doesn't happen because City just are going to finish with a ridiculous margin, then there's not really too much that we could do about it. They've just had an unbelievable year, bit of a write-off. Let's make sure we secure that second place. And if we do get second place this year, which is what we're in at the minute, and based on the record that we've got so far this season, and the Champions League included, I don't think there can be too much to moan about. And the fact that, and people saying that Jose, the style of football is rubbish, I assume must be people who only watch the big games. Because, in the big games, you understand going at it a bit more pragmatically, a bit more tactically. But we've been scoring a lot of goals against the teams towards that aren't necessarily in the top six. So, what do you think, Webby?
I just don't think we've parked the bus at all. For me, parking the bus is defending for 90 minutes with 10 men behind the ball and you're scrapping for line. The Liverpool game was at the game. It was poor. Liverpool were there for the taking. Liverpool are an average team for me, in my eyes. I don't like him, so I'm going to say that anyway. But you're looking at, people have got to remember the squad he was left with. it all started under Fergie to Moyes to Van Gaal. We were left with some dead wood, and there's still a lot of dead wood there now. You know, and it's hard to shift them out the door when they're on big contract. Guardiola was left with dead wood, but he was also left with a lot of better players than we have. You know, and he addressed the problem. City's problem last year was the full-backs. He went out and spent 100 million. People laughed. He got it right. Proof's in the pudding now. If you remember, though, this time last year we was 8th. We're now 2nd. And if City wouldn't have had this run, we could have been top of the league. You know, when the teams win 15 out of 16 normally,
but
never.
you can't say that in a league. You can't say if it wasn't for the team winning the league, we'd be top. If it wasn't for the 17 teams above Crystal Palace, they'd be winning the league. You have to beat the teams in the league. You have to be better than everyone else. And Manchester United have a right to feel like they should be the best team in the league.
No, you've got to earn the right, Jim. But the thing is that last Sunday, City have got match-winning players, what we didn't have. The only player we have who could have stirred it up was sat in the stands for a stupid red card at Arsenal.
So is that poor recruitment on Jose's part? Because he went out and he spent quite a lot of money.
He spent quite a lot of money, but so City spent more money than us. City spent 400-500 million on the defence. You know, so they've got the money. That's the way they spent it. He's bought well to players he already had. We're still 3 or 4 players short of being up there. I'm not just means with the likes of City. I mean, if we were really take a chance in Europe to the likes of PSG, Barcelona, Real Madrid, we're still 3 or 4 players. I asked the question now, Lingard, for me, the last couple of games, he's been fine. But I'm going to say to you now, Jim, as a football fan, would Jesse Lingard get in City's 11?
No.
Would he get in Liverpool's 11?
On recent performances, the last 3 or 4 games?
No, I'm just talking as his old United career. Would he get in Liverpool's squad?
No, definitely not.
Would he get in
Arsenal's any of the top 10 teams based on his career?
There you go. He's played well at Arsenal and at Watford. But for me, if you look at the City game, and Lukaku was getting a lot of stick, which he was last night, Jim, which he's told. I've never booed a player in my life. The players don't go out to play bad. You know, I've got idiots sat around me, boo, 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 and he cost us this and he's useless. And I really wanted to say something, but they're the own fans who they pay the money, so they're entitled to their rant.
I want to talk about Lukaku in a minute. And if you are a United fan who has had enough of Jose, I know you're out there because I've heard you talking to. I've met you in pubs. 0345 111 76 25 is the number. 87711 is the text number. Gaz and Webby both think there's still mileage in Jose Mourinho. But what do you think? Anthony's already. He's on the phone. Evening, Anthony.
Good evening, Jim.
You still backing the manager?
Of course I am. It's daft to raise this question. How many managers have we had in 5 years? 3 managers in 5 seasons. We can't keep chopping and changing the manager just because there's a little grumble of discontent on day trippers. We're having a half and half scarves, flagging it up on Twitter.
Tell him, Anthony.
All right then, let me ask the 3 of you. What do you see in Jose Mourinho at the moment that convinces you he is the right man for the job? We've already said his recruitment's not been great. We've already said his tactics haven't been great. What is the positive that he's bringing to United at the moment?
One word, results. Look at us this season.
Last year, we won 3 pots. You know, you take that all day long. They're not the three biggest pots, but we won 3.
Yeah.
But the thing is, for me, I think one of the major things this year, lads, is that the non-signing of Perisic. I think he had his house on it. If we get an out-and-out winger who can play right or left, Lukaku will have 25 goals now. He thrives on wing play. And no disrespect to Juan Mata and Anthony Martial. They're not wingers.
Exactly.
We get an out-and-out winger, which he thought Perisic was coming, we'd be...
That's
2 or 3 points behind City all day long. What's the kid?
We were linked to Perisic, and you had people saying, "Oh, but he's not good enough. He's not quite the player to get in United's team." And it wasn't necessarily the case of him being some big world beater winger. It's the fact that he's different from the wingers that we currently have, so he gives us a different option. And as we've discovered, as
our
the
wingers
seasons
are full-backs now.
Yeah, as we discovered as the season's gone on, though. You put a ball into Lukaku, and he's probably scoring it. You saw the goal last night. That's the sort of the goal, the sort of cross that Perisic will be playing week in, week out.
After what we've seen, obviously the call will say as well, the football under David Moyes was dross. Under Van Gaal it wasn't much better. We had a few great days, but it was boring to watch. Mourinho's a breath of fresh air for me. Now people are going to have a go at him, but for me the manager stays and he gets back by me 100,000,000%.
We're just trying to get Anthony. He is on the line, but I can't hear him at the moment. So he is there at the moment. So let me... Oh, no, he's gone now. He was there a second ago. We're going to go to... No, we're not. Isn't it? Are you there, Anthony? Are you still there, mate?
I'm still there.
Yeah.
Oh, good. There you are. Sorry.
I'm just listening to it all. But yeah, I get what the boys are saying.
No, he's gone.
Sorry, Anthony.
Let me read you a couple of tweets that have come in off people who aren't as supportive of Jose Mourinho. We've got Steve, who says the club is in much better position than it was 2 years ago, but the style of play in big games is just horrible to watch. I'm not sure that spending a load of money on another 2 players is going to change that system.
But what's worse, the style of play? I understand, right, the style of play in big games, and I understand maybe we did pay too much respect to City, and we paid a little bit too much respect to Liverpool as well. However, does no one remember what it was like under Van Gaal at times? It was like that for every game. I think what was the amount of goals that we scored at Old Trafford one season? Was it like 15 goals?
It got that bad for me, Jim, under Van Gaal. I was walking out half time and I never do that.
Wow.
That's how bad it was for me. Some games you didn't go in.
No, that's
and it broke me heart to sit and not being able to watch the team I love. But we knew he was all about possession football. He wanted the stats of us having 70%. And I remember the Moyes comment, we played a game where we had 74 crosses, but we never won the game, David.
No, I know.
We aspired to be like Man City. We'll make it hard for Newcastle. Jose Mourinho is made for Manchester United 3 years too late in my eyes. It will come good. It's just a matter of fact that the team across the road are playing ever so good.
And we've got a Henrik on Twitter who says, no, Jose's not the right man. He's far from being the right man for the job. He's got a right to have the hump, hasn't he? His defensive mentality is a stark contrast to United's DNA of attacking football. The sooner we can get rid of him, the better.
Honestly, honestly, right? I genuinely think that some of these people have only watched the games that are on telly or only watched the big games. I can't believe that someone can say something like that.
That doesn't give him any less of a right to comment and talk about the state of the club.
It does, because they don't know what's going on in 80% of games that have happened so far this season. They'll just say what's happened in the big games. Look, I understand the opinion, and it's fair enough, but another question that needs to be asked for the people who keep saying Jose out, who do you want to bring in next? Right, so Jose's not worked. Right. So we started with David Moyes. A little bit of a risk after Alex Ferguson, but, a risk that Fergie thought would have paid off. Didn't pay off. Fair enough. We took the risk. Then we got Louis van Gaal. For me, was another risk, really, in the style of football that everyone knows that he's played. And in the past as well, he's done some great things, but he's also had some really poor seasons at top clubs. That was a bit of a risk. Jose, there wasn't a risk there for me. He's a manager who's proven it at the top level, and especially in English football. If we get rid of him now, who do we get in? Who?
You're talking about style of football. You mentioned it. Henrik's mentioned it as well. And I've heard people talking about the Man United way and that Jose doesn't play the Man United way. Is that way a thing of the past? Is that something that United need to forget about and just play? Is it an old style of football that doesn't exist anymore?
Yeah, but Fergie did that. Sometimes he adopted to the teams we play. Obviously, people are just going to put on it. He'll adopt to the team we play, Maybe if it's someone, no disrespect, to say Swansea away, he'll go 4-4-2. But Liverpool away, Real Madrid away, Barcelona away, he will pack the midfield. You've got to do it for your opponent. He looks into games, Jose. I'm not saying other managers don't do it, but he'll pick the best system to suit that game. Now, I'll hold my hands up, Jim. City with a better team. I walked into that ground thinking, we've got to have a hell of a good day and they've got to have an average day just to get somewhere. They've got players who can turn games. We haven't. They've got 2 or 3. We've got maybe 1. And that's down to them, you know what I mean? He bought well. They have got good players. It's going to take a lot to stop him. But for me, Jose's a man. I'll back him till the day I die.
Is it down just the players that have been bought? And we'll come back to this because Jonesy's waiting on the line. So we're going to talk to Jonesy, then we'll come back to this question. But is it just the way that United have bought that's the issue there? Because you look at the players in that derby, the players that really shone for City weren't the players that were bought in. It was Raheem Sterling, it was David Silva, and it was Kevin De Bruyne, who weren't players bought in by Pep Guardiola. They have been players that have been coached by Pep Guardiola. That's the effect he's had. And maybe Jose hasn't had that same effect on the players that are existing there. Arguably, as you said, Lingard's come good in the last few games. Maybe he'll go on to excel. But there hasn't been the same kind of impact on coaching. We'll come back to that in a minute. Hold that thought. We're going to speak to Jonesy.
Good point, though.
He's on line 1. Josie, evening, mate.
Yeah, hi, Jim. Hiya.
What are you saying?
Good. A point you made there about Jose. He has brought the best out of players. Fellaini is playing out of his skin when the other managers before him couldn't get the best out of him. Ashley Young playing out of his skin, the best he's ever played for us. That's the Jose effect. And I think he is doing it with certain players, similar to what the fella over the road's doing in the blue camp. But I think also the thing is with Jose now, he has got the hardest job in football that he's ever had. It's come to us at the worst time because he's got the biggest job to do. What worries me and all with Jose is that he doesn't seem to be nailing his name onto our flag. You know, we have these comments recently about PSG and blah, blah, blah. When he was at Chelsea, he used to come out with, I'm here until Mr. Abramovich wants to get rid of me, and, you know, that sort of commitment to them. He is the best one. I was just, sorry that we didn't get him first time round when Fergie finished. We heard the stories about Fergie had tried to get him and he said he'd committed himself to Chelsea. I'm not sure that that's true at all, to be honest with you. And I have a thought, really, that in my mind, Fergie should have really thought, I'll do another season and I'll wait until we get the right man for the job. Not go for Moyes, not go for somebody who's untried. He's done so much for us, for our club. You know, he is a god in our eyes. But I think that was one of the biggest mistakes. I know he wanted to retire, but maybe, stay on for that one more season. And the other one that came out recently was that he went and spoke to Guardiola. We know that he went there because he told us he'd been and spoke to him. But Guardiola didn't understand if he was offering him the job. If that was the case, you'd have thought that us as a club had contacted Guardiola through his agent or whatever and said, listen, the job's yours. We want you. We'll wait for you another 12 months if that's what you want to do. Fergie, stay in it for 12 months or get gigs in for 12 months. We could have got the right one for us, but obviously we didn't do it, and he's gone.
Do you wish you had? Do you wish you had Guardiola, Jonesy? In honesty, is that the man you want?
Well, before around about Christmas when they were both sort of out of work, and we didn't know which one was coming to work. We knew probably both of them were coming to Manchester, but we didn't know which one. If we could have got Guardiola, I think he would have been the top choice. Because I think at the time when he was, when he had his sabbatical, he was the best manager in the world. There was nobody else to touch him. And Jose was a close second to him. And then you start going down the pecking order to the others then. But they are the main ones. The shame of it was, I think, we didn't get Jose when we had the fear factor for everybody else, our team, our club. He could have probably stepped in then at that first season when Fergie finished and picked up the reins and continued. But I think the job now is so hard because he's got, like Webby said, the biggest rebuilding job he's ever had to do. And I don't think he's having to work as hard, in the past as what he's having to do now. But there's nobody else. He's the one for me, because look out there. Can anybody, like your other lad said, can anybody tell us who you'd get in? I heard Webby saying the other week that he would happily have the class of 92 in, and get them managing. But they're untried. We can't afford to do it.
Not so much managing. I wanted them in around the club, because if you're a young player coming up at United and you go out on that training pitch and you see Paul Scholes there in the training talk and he's telling you stuff, it's only going to be good for the club. These lads should be involved with Manchester United at some point. Nicky Butt is the academy director, but surely we could get Scholesy in there. Giggs should have stayed on in some capacity. And Phil Neville, as a kid there, he must be walking out on that training pitch every day like Liverpool have got with Gerrard. That must give them a right lift. Seeing Gerrard taking him for training and managing. Surely the club missed the boat with that one, pal.
We've got to move on in a second, but let me just run this past the three, Jonesy, Gaz and Webby. Potential managers that could replace Jose. If you were going to get rid of them, you look at the top managers in world football at the moment, and as you say, it's not that deep a pool. You've got Carlo Ancelotti, potentially.
I think that'd be my shout.
Luis Enrique, Simeone, Pochettino at Spurs. He'd be my man. Pochettino at Spurs would be the one. If you could get him to United, he'd be the top choice, wouldn't he? So there's not that many to choose from.
But the thing is on that though, Jim, is that if you look at the last three managers we've got, you want to go for the big manager, say Pochettino. We're going to have to give Spurs 20 million, compo, easy all day long. Moyes was nothing out of contract. Louis van Gaal was out of contract, and Jose didn't have a job. It's all free. It's all, if you want the big boys who are with the big clubs, you're paying a lot of money now. If you know the fact that United's dealing with Spurs and the chairman there is very hard, we're not going to get him for less than 20 million. But what's he won, Jim? The Tottenham manager, he's not won a bowl of soup.
Nothing yet.
You know what I mean? He's not won a bowl of soup, Jim, so we can't say
but if you gave him 300 million quid like Jose Mourinho has been given, maybe you could buy something.
Spurs, for me, had the chance last year to win the league, And the same in North London.
I'm not sure he spent much money with it.
He spent a few quid, Jim, and for me, he's not good enough. Not yet. I'm not saying he will not be good enough, but for me, if you want a top job, you've got to start winning stuff and moving yourself up.
Cheers for your call, Jonesy. If you want to get involved, 0345 111 7625 is the number. 87711 is the text number. We've got a text here that's talking about Jose making an idiot of himself in press conferences. We'll talk about his manner in press conferences in a minute. And also, I was talking to Webby about this, the alleged press vendetta that is against Jose Mourinho. Maybe I'm part of that.
I'm going to say, yeah.
0345 111 7625 is the number. Get involved. This is the Excess Manchester Football Social Full-Time Devils Takeover. I said I wanted to talk about Jose Mourinho tonight, and talking about Jose Mourinho we are. Is he the right man for the job at United still? I want to talk about his behaviour very soon, because we've had a couple of texts and tweets in on how he's been behaving over the last couple of weeks or couple of months and so. But we're going to go straight to the phones because Rob's waiting. Evening, Rob.
Good evening.
What are you saying, mate?
I was going to mention about the transfer window, but you've raised something just there about is Jose still the right man for the job? And when the job was up for renewal, should we say, for want of a better term, when Louis van Gaal went, my top pick at the time was Carlo Ancelotti. And do you know what? I wouldn't be sad to see him turn up. But having said that, he's had a difficult time at Munich this season. And I think if you get rid of Jose, I think the obvious question is, who are you going to bring in with the strength of will and character and the pedigree that can match him? And it probably only is Carlo Ancelotti. So personally, I'm frustrated like hell with him. I thought the derby was just pathetic. I thought with the formation, the tactics, everything was wrong from top to bottom. But I would suggest that we give him a couple more transfer windows and really say, right, okay, we acknowledge that there's still quite a lot of players here who probably shouldn't be here. But he's won 2 trophies. We're second in the league. We're a distant second. I fully acknowledge that. But if we don't back him, then we're just going back to square one again. So I think give him one more transfer window. By that I mean summer transfer window, assuming this season doesn't completely fall over. Let him bring in the players he really wants. If it doesn't work, then fine. But who are we going to get that's better now? We've made our bed. We've got to sleep in it. But as much as it pains me to say it, I would have loved to have seen Pep. I mean, the style that football City are playing and what's happening over there, you'd have to be blind not to acknowledge what's going on there and realise that it's something pretty special.
Cheers.
But
thank you.
Deal with it basically. So.
Cheers, Rob. Thanks for coming on. Appreciate that, mate. And it's a very fair point. These things, dynasties take time, don't they? They don't grow overnight. You have to give a manager a bit of time to put his footprint on a football team, and it's very reactionary football now, that if a manager doesn't achieve instantly and play beautiful attacking football, you get rid of him.
That's exactly it, though. When you say that, though, a manager doesn't necessarily achieve. Do you not think that looking at it, could you imagine, right? We carry on playing like we have done in the big games for the rest of the season. We do that in the big games. But we also carry on playing like we have done against the smaller teams. We managed to wrap up a second place finish this season. Go out in the quarters of the Champions League. Let's just say that, throw that out there. Could you genuinely imagine justifying sacking Jose Mourinho for that? Just saying, well, I mean, you finished second in the league, which is the best finish that we've had since Alex Ferguson. But you didn't play too great against Liverpool and City, so you're gone. You don't need to sack Jose Mourinho, though. He has a breakdown and walks out the door, doesn't he? That's the beautiful thing about it. If that happens, that's a completely different story. But I just don't think there's and the way this season's gone so far, I can't see us getting to a point where we can justify sacking Jose Mourinho. Or, personally, I don't want us to. I really don't. I would also love to see what a manager like Carlo Ancelotti, who's a manager that I really rate, who's done it at the top clubs, I would love to see what he would do at United. Don't get me wrong, and he's a great manager. I think he should probably have been the one after Alex Ferguson. But I think what Jose's done so far, you can't justify sacking him at all. Let's talk to Jamie. He's on the phone. Evening, Jamie.
How you doing? You all right?
Very well, my friend. Go on. What are you saying?
I just can't believe what I'm hearing, to be honest. I can't believe we're even talking about a potential replacement for Mourinho and whether he should be fired and all this. I think it's absolutely absurd when you consider where we finished in the league before Mourinho came. I mean, even last season was disappointing, but look where we are now. We're second in the league, behind probably one of the best Premier League teams there's ever been. And we're talking about replacing Mourinho. United are not the same side anymore, and we never will be that side again. Football's changed. There's more money in it for other teams, and we've just got to be happy to compete. And I think we've got the best manager we could have.
I never thought I'd hear a United fan saying we should be just happy to compete.
I think that's realistic. I think if we keep this idea that we've got to win the league every season, I think it's an unrealistic expectation nowadays, and we'll end up just sacking people willy-nilly, and we'll just end up worse off. I think in the situation we've got at the minute, Mourinho is the best manager we could possibly have, because everyone hates United, everyone hates Mourinho. It's a match made in heaven. Honestly, I can't believe we're even talking about who we'd potentially have this early on. I mean, I know they weren't great trophies, but he won 2 trophies last season in his first season. And we're looking much... We are improved. We've improved on last season. And I just worry that because City are doing so well, which they are, that it's almost reflecting badly on us. And I just think we should focus on our own game and just stop worrying and stop panicking.
Jamie, this time last year, pal, we was 8th. This time last year we was 8th in the league, so we was 8th.
City have improved, we've improved, and you can't deny City are having a fantastic season. They broke records. It's absurd what they're doing. I don't think we should let it reflect so badly on us. We're a different team. Their squad's a few years ahead of ours. I just think we need to relax. Stop being so fickle with it. I mean, the derby were horrible. I'm a red man. I hate it. But at the end of the day, we lost the game, 3 points. Yes, we're 11 points behind. We're probably not going to win this season, but let's not be talking about, overhauling it all again and starting again. We've got one of the most successful managers around. We've got someone who's going to stick up for us. And I don't know. I don't think we should even be mentioning Ancelotti and other potential replacements. I think it's a bit daft, really.
Are you happy with his behaviour? Because you mentioned there that you like to have a manager. You're United. Everyone hates you. You want a manager that everyone hates as well. We've got a couple of texts in here. I don't know if these are from Reds or Blues, but one says Jose is constantly making an idiot of himself in the press conference. He's still banging on about a Herrera penalty. Absolute joke. And this other one says, marching into the dressing room to complain about celebrating teams, Jose is losing his mind. Are we all okay with his behaviour over the last few weeks? Jamie, you start on this one.
Well, no, I'm not, to be honest. His reaction to the derby I was disappointed with, because I would have preferred him to show a bit more humility and congratulate City's performance, because it was a great performance. And it does make us look a bit bitter, but at the end of the day, I want a manager with character like that. I want stuff going on. I want someone sticking up for us and getting passionate and fiery about it. Honestly, obviously he does things I don't agree with. Definitely, he's Mourinho. It's only a few years ago he's poking someone's eye socket. Do you know what I mean? But I don't know. It's us against the world, and he thrives in that. And I just think a couple more transfer windows, because we are miles behind City squad-wise. A couple more transfer windows, and everyone just relax, and we'll get there.
You're looking though, Jamie. Up till last year, no one was talking about United. Now we're back hated. Now we've got the manager everybody hates. Everyone hates us again. And I love that. I love that as a Red, that I know wherever I go that we're getting hated by that team, and I couldn't be happier.
I absolutely love it that a poem went viral on Facebook about City beating us in the derby. Love it. And the fact that someone's gone to the effort to do a 10-verse poem over a 3-point game, I'm saying we're still there. We're still at the top.
They'll release the DVD of it
United, the moment this discussion stops is the moment United have gone. But they just can't help it. It's brilliant. We're still at the top. We might be 11 points behind, but they cannot stop hating us, and that's all that matters to me.
Can I just say this about Jose as well and his behaviour in recent press conferences, right? We spent the whole show today talking about Jose and essentially sort of criticising him in certain ways.
Don't you dare tell me this is mind games. Don't you dare tell me he's trying to distract us. Who are we talking about?
We've been criticising just Jose Mourinho. I don't remember us criticising one Manchester United player so far in the show today, and that's exactly why he's doing it.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that for a second.
It's all an act. It's a circus.
Right, we're going to draw a close on this particular conversation because we have been talking about it for a long time. But very quickly, Jonathan's on the line. Evening, Jonathan.
You're right, mate.
What are you saying, my friend?
Yeah, I'm just I get my point across. I'm sick to death of just hearing the constant, United this and United that. maybe if for once people could just get behind the team and know, yeah, Lukaku's not had the best of times, but booing him's not going to help.
That's what you were saying, Webby.
Yes,
No,
Joe, I couldn't believe it last night. Sat in my seat, and these people were booing him, and then when he scored, he was like the best thing since sliced bread.
Exactly. That's the whole point. But look, how did the fans respond to the City game? They just sit there with their arms crossed, moping. You know what I mean? They just sit there in the stadium, dead quiet, and you think, get behind your team. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and that's all they need to do. At the end of the day, look where we was last season. We had 26 goals at the end of the season. We've already beat that already on goal difference. So what is it to complain about?
I think a lot of United fans are complaining is that how well City are doing. You know, if City wouldn't be as good as he was, then I don't think there'd be a lot of complaint. But people are picking on. It's like last night. I thought Luke Shaw was superb. You know, that's what we need. We need a balanced team. Now, no disrespect to Ashley Young, but, you know, he's going to come inside all the time. Luke Shaw needs a run of fixtures now to stay fit, and it's like signing a new player, you know. And I thought the young kid that Tomley played well last night, a bit of strength, which we've been getting bullied out a few games when Matic hasn't been there or Pogba, and the kid's got a great future now. I'd play him again, but obviously, like I said to you before, Jim, we're still 3 or 4 players behind being a top-notch team.
Would there be the same negativity if you were 11 points behind Chelsea?
No, there wouldn't.
They wouldn't.
That's
They
an
wouldn't,
interesting
Jim.
question. No,
They wouldn't, because the team's on your doorstep. You go to work with City fans. You live next door to them, unfortunately. You have to have a pint with them, unfortunately. So they're all proud with their chests out, and rightly so. They deserve to be. Like the lad said before, they are playing some great football. And like I said, I walked into Old Trafford last Sunday. I said to myself, they've got to have a bad day, and we've got to have a great day to get anything. And the proof's in the pudding. I thought 2-1 and got away with it lightly, to be honest.
We're going to talk more about the game very soon. Thank you very much for your call, Jonathan. Appreciate that. 0345 111 7625 is the number. 87711 is the text number. Let's get some positives from last night's 1-0 win over Bournemouth. Also going to look ahead to the next game against West Brom on Sunday, a team that are not conceding very many at the moment, so if United got the firepower to break them down. We'll do that next on the XS Manchester Football Social Full-Time Devils Takeover. But let's talk about this weekend. This Sunday coming, Manchester United versus West Brom. Now, West Brom haven't conceded a goal since Alan Pardew took over. Who saw that one coming? 3 games, no goals conceded. Are United going to do it this weekend, Webby? No, they've not scored any either, but they've not conceded any. Straight out the Jose Mourinho hand, but that, isn't it?
West Brom, you know what you're going to get with West Brom. They're fighting for their lives. They proved that last night at Anfield. Apparently, parked the bus at Anfield. So it's going to be an hard game. They're fighting for points. You expect us to go there and win comfortably. You know, if we play our right team, obviously the pressure's on them to come out. I remember seeing a tweet a bit ago under Pulis who I thought did a decent job from. What do you want as a West Brom fan? Do you want to just survival? Do you want to try and get in Europe? How big do you want to do it? Do you want to just stay there? But I seen a tweet saying, lost my season ticket, you found it, don't give it me back. You know, so that's how bad it must be for them, you know what I mean?
Well, it's the kind of situation that Stoke had, isn't it? They played the same.
Yeah, but if you look at Stoke, they've
then
spent a load of dough. And where are they this year? They're struggling, you know. As we're quite fortunate to be United fans, like we've seen more success than thingy. But how far do you want to go as a West Brom fan? Do you want to build every year and then obviously try and get into Europe, or you're happy to languish in the bottom half of the table? But the All Farms is a sticky place. We won last year. Ibra got a pair of goals. Obviously, Fergie's last game, the 5-0. It's going to be an hard game, but I expect us to win.
Yeah. I'm really confident, to be honest. I am very confident, to be honest, going against teams like this, whereas in the past, especially under Van Gaal, I wasn't. Van Gaal did great against the teams, the top 6, and then the opposite against the teams lower down. I'm confident, and I think that one thing, I don't think it's going to happen after the game last night, since he got a goal, but I was kind of thinking that now's the time to maybe give Lukaku a rest and play Zlatan and start him. Webby mentioned he scored a couple there last season. I want to see Zlatan starting against West Brom. I'd love that.
I think you'll find Lukaku plays at West Brom, Zlatan plays at Bristol.
Oh, okay.
On the Wednesday night, you know.
Yeah.
He needs a game, Zlatan, you know.
I'd rather him
little cameo roles of him 10 minutes is no good, and there's been when the game's been at a dead rub and it's been dead, so he's not been able to do anything. For me, obviously, he starts at Bristol. Give him for the 90 minutes what he needs, you know. Let's see what he looks like against a good Bristol team. You know, I watched them the other week against Sheffield United, and they're up there and they play some nice stuff, and they're a good team. So we've got to go out. Ozzy always goes out. He was at Chelsea with decent teams in the Carling Cup or whatever it's called now. You know, so it will be an hard game, and he will pick a strong enough team to get us through to the semi-final.
Could that goal last night for Lukaku be the kickstart he needs? Because he was in a rut of form. He was heavily blamed after the derby for being responsible for the goals there and being pretty ineffective up front. So is that goal, and it being so close soon after derby, could that be what he kicks on from?
He was pretty ineffective after the game in the tunnel as well. I mean, I heard it.
That was the biggest attacking intent he had all.
The thing is, I'm not even making a joke here, but they said that Lukaku threw a punch. He genuinely must have missed, because if he's throwing a punch at someone, surely someone's dead. You know what I mean?
You look at, though, a lot of people, you know, what Gaz just said there, but if you look at our play on Sunday, from our midfield to Lukaku, the space was too big. There was no one around him. So if he was winning balls and knocking them off, there was no one there. If you look at the City side, they had De Bruyne and Silva in between the skid up front. It was too far, and I feel sorry for him. You're lumping the ball up all the time. We know what his strengths are. You know what I mean? He likes it down on the floor. He is strong. He's a very, very clever player. So for me, like Mata last night, Mata's got to play more for United. I don't get that with a manager, you know. Obviously, he was at Chelsea, he got rid of him. Everyone thought when he come in from Chelsea, he'd be the first to go. He's out of contract. We've got to get that kid under contract, you know, because he is a match winner and he opens doors for us, which we've not got a lot of players like that who can do it in the squad.
I've heard a lot of people saying that United need a really good creative number 10 this season. Surely Mata is that creative number 10, isn't he?
You know what I think it is? I think it's more of we need an unpredictable number 10. A number 10 where no one in the crowd knows exactly what he's going to do. I kind of feel like even though our forwards are very, very good, like I think Lukaku's a great player, just in some poor form. I think Martial's one of the best young players that I've seen at United in a very, very long time, and Marcus Rashford's just he's going to be a genius. But I feel like you know what they're going to do when they get the ball. A lot of the time the defenders can't actually stop them, but you still kind of have an idea of where they're going to go with it. I think we need someone who nobody has a clue what's going like De Bruyne. Like for the City game, you saw it at Old Trafford. When he gets
if only Jose had a player like De Bruyne.
I know, exactly.
If he was a Chelsea fan, you'd be absolutely sick, wouldn't you? You never got a game for him.
You would.
And when he played him up front.
Yeah, but you saw him like last minute split decisions. You can tell that he's changing his mind all the time. He's all based on instinct. I don't think really we've got a number 10 player who can play like that. I don't think Mata or Mkhitaryan or Lingard really.
Would you have
good enough?
6 months left in his contract at Arsenal. Could move in January. Would you have him?
You'd have him for nothing. You know, I wouldn't like. See, you look at the Arsenal situation now with the Van Persie. Obviously, it all was down to put on Wenger. I think now the likes of Sanchez and Ozil, I think they'll let the contracts work down. Then it's all on the player. We wanted them to stay, but they never come back and boo him. I'll check him now. I'll check him at the end of the season for nothing. I won't give you anything in January. I think he knows that. I've bit heard that deal's done.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that it's done for next season. Very, very close at Real Madrid. The pair
he described him as the greatest number 10 in the world, didn't he, Jose, when he was at Real Madrid?
Do you know what with Ozil? If the sun's shining, you're 3-0 up, he's the best player in the world. If it's 2-0 at Burnley on a cold Tuesday night, he hides. He does that for Arsenal. But would he have him for free all day long? I would.
Right, we're going to finish on a little bit of yin and yang very quickly. We've got Gaz's nice one, and Webby's going to get something off his chest as well. Let's start with the negativity. Go on, Webby, let him have it.
Well, just going about what I said before. One thing I've never done for following United since my first game was 1976 is people booing players. Now, for me, a player does not go out on that pitch and say to himself, I'm going to have a bad game today. No. I'm not bothered. And there was idiots around me last night booing Lukaku, screaming he's a waste of money. He scores and he's a new Georgie Best. Now, don't bother coming. You know what I mean? I can get those seats, bring a couple of my mates in, get behind the team. You know, if the players, they're not going to know you personally, but they know when you're lifting him. That's what we've got to do. And he's only 24. You know, get behind him. He's not having a great time, but he got us the 3 points last night with the header. So if you're going to bother coming to moan, stay at home, please.
Do you think that was part of his muted celebration? Do you think that was it? It was kind of like...
I think that was some more than himself, Jim, after Sunday's game, knowing quite well that he'd made the mistakes for the goals. I don't think the crowd have got on his back, where the last one I ever heard at United getting booed was Colin Gibson. And he ended up putting 2 fingers up to United Road because he was really getting on his back. Now, we don't want that. player does not come on this pitch to play bad. If they're playing bad, get behind him. If you're not going to be bothered, just stay at home.
Right, let's finish on some positivity then, Gaz. Go on, be our ray of sunshine.
It's got to be United continuing in traditions and offering a professional contract to Angel Gomez. 17 years old. He's already captained England under 17s, and he looks to be a real talent. And it's just good to see us giving young players a chance. And maybe it's a little bit too early this season for us to see him in the first team, unless maybe as we come to the end of the league campaign, our position is already guaranteed. Then it'll be nice to see him get in a game again. But I can't see him really in the big competitive games. But next season, I think we've got an additional player there that no one's even thought of that could surprise everyone and could be the next. Well, I was going to say a player from ages ago, but you could just say the next Marcus Rashford, couldn't you, in a way, with what he's doing? It's just good to see United carrying it on because I don't see many other clubs doing it.
It's been a while, apart from Marcus Rashford, where a young player has come through at United.
Yeah.
We know the criticism that's been levelled at Mourinho about him giving young players the chance. Is this the one that's going to make it? Is he the one that's going to break the mould and make through?
I think it's dead simple. I think Jose just don't want to take too many risks, which is fair enough. He doesn't want to play youngsters that he doesn't know are good enough. However, Angel Gomez, I think, will prove that he's good enough to him.
I think now, like, obviously, you look back at the class of 92, they were good enough. You will not see a club or a team bring 5 and put 5 straight in.
Yeah.
Gone.
There's too much pressure. 1, maybe 2 at a time, maximum. So this Gomez, obviously, I've seen him play for the under 16s, 17s. He's something special, you know. A lot of clubs were after him. A lot of people thought he was going to go to Spain, find another club, but obviously great news last night that he signed the contract, and it only works well for the club, you know. I think he'll be in around the squad next year. Ozzy seems to like him. He brought him on a sub against Palace. What must that have been for him and his family to see him come on? And he's only going to get better, and he's going to do that with us.
Finishing on a bit of positivity. That is it from the XS Manchester Football Social Full-Time Devils Takeover. We'll be back talking United next Thursday. Mark Matthews is next on XS, kicking off with The Record Company and Robert Plant.